Welcome back, viewers at home. You are looking forward to quite a very interesting conversation with Rubina Ghoor, who is a holistic healing expert and spiritual guide. And she joins us to discuss natural remedies and practices to combat year-end exhaustion. Now, with her extensive experience in alternative therapies and mindfulness, Rubina will share practical tips to rejuvenate your body, mind, as well as spirit as we approach the new year. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Rubina. Jazakallah so much for joining us tonight.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me, Sister Maimuna.
Now, before we get to, being given practical steps in terms of how we can rejuvenate ourselves and make, this idea or rather this concept of year-end fatigue a thing of the past, can you give us, a start in terms of what are the common causes of year-end fatigue and how can holistic healing address them?
So, Sister Maimuna, you used a very important word. You said concept. Okay? So, the first thing I would say is let's change that concept. Let's change our mindset and our intention and our attention on what does it mean for us. So, what does it mean when we use the word year-end fatigue? Are we tapping into the collective consciousness of how we are supposed to feel because it's this time of the year? So that I feel is very important, our attitude and our mindset. So can we change that right now? Can we look at it that actually this is a period of rejuvenation, this is a period of resetting, this is a period where I can actually start becoming more conscious of my health at all levels.
That was a beautiful start.
So our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has guided us and said that innamal a'malu bin-niyyah. Everything starts with an intention. So are we making conscious intentions in our lives to navigate that in our life, or the intentions on a subconscious level? So bringing the niyyah every day, daily into our lives on what do we want in terms of our well-being and what does that include? So when Maimuna, when you're speaking about holistic, we are now touching on the spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical well-being of ourselves. And this is where the Ansari Holistic Healing Institute focuses on. This is our standpoint. We cannot only look at our physical well-beings. We have to look at all the other aspects of who we are.
Now, with that being said, Sister Rubina, are there any, simple or rather, can I say, doable daily practices that we can incorporate in our lives that will allow us to reduce stress and also boost energy through the day or through the week or just through the month?
Okay, so Maimuna, I'd like to do the first thing. I'd like to show us right now that our energy can shift immediately. So it's a practice. We can place our hands on our heart space, close your eyes or keep it open, take a deep breath in, breathe out. Allah, Allah, Allah. So I'd like you all to connect and see how did that make you feel. Some people will feel ease and calm and peace, and others will feel agitated. So this is our inner knowledge. Getting to know ourselves is getting to know our Rabb. So understanding why am I agitated or why am I feeling calm, this all will bring us closer to understanding how we can heal ourselves holistically. So there are many practices, and being Muslim, we have our 5 daily salah and we have our dhikr that we can continue throughout the day and night. And this is about building that connection with our beloved Creator in a way that we need to pause. The important thing is pausing. Why are we so in a hurry? And I talk to myself daily. Why am I rushing? Where are we running to?
Sister Rubina, when you did that activity, I felt calmness, even though I didn't put my hand where my heart is or recite Allah's name. it gave me calmness. And I think this also reminded me of the feeling that one gets whenever you, after you make wudu and you step on the musalla, the calmness after salah that you get. And I think this brings me to now saying this is like a, just comparing it to saying it's meditation of sort, even though it's salah, it's prayer, it's, anchoring oneself. I want to find out from you in terms of how do mindfulness and meditation really contribute to overall well-being during busy times, because oftenly we know that it's time for salah and you're able to take a pause and pray your salah, but oftenly outside of salah you find that people are just feeling so overwhelmed, so stressed, and the idea of taking out the time and breathing and, incorporating the exercise that you just gave us is something that they feel like it's going to consume their time, or it's something that they can't do or can't afford to partake in at the moment.
Okay, so again, Sister Maiman, I was speaking about our understanding of time. What does wasting of time mean? So we got to start re-looking and reframing how we think, why we think the way we think, and how do we want to renew that thinking pattern? How do we want to change that in our lives? Because that really, if we are living on autopilot, then we are actually not having any connection with our creator or with ourselves or even with nature or even with the people that we love. So our relationships at all levels, beginning from our relationship with Allah, with ourselves, with community, with nature, all that becomes very distorted because of this misunderstanding and misinformation that we carry and limiting beliefs in terms of our relationship and how we are supposed to be in this world. So again, re-looking at our thought patterns, our limiting beliefs, what is it? Going back to the drawing board, kind of unlearning and relearning. So this is, I would challenge each one of us to start getting into that space of rather, let me get a fix. Okay, let me do this meditation, I'll be fine. Let me take this supplement, I'll be fine. No, it's not going to happen. Seriously, this is not going to happen. Try it. People have done it for years and years, and I'm still in the same place. I can't move on. Let's get back to intention and attention. Get back to changing our mindset. Get back to changing our attitude, to our understanding. Let's get back to understanding and getting to know. So knowledge again is the key, like what we're doing right now. We're trying to understand where can we get this holistic feeling of living wholesome lives. Why are we all suffering? Why are we all in this distress and this autopilot state? That's our own reflection. So contemplation, a daily routine that we should actually put this contemplation into our lives on a daily basis, even if it's for 30 seconds. One moment of contemplation is better than 1,000 years of worship without contemplation. So, I mean, this tells us the meaning of what it means to reflect, to re-look at our lives on a daily basis. There's a study that our eye cells actually are renewed every 24 hours. So why are we still looking at our lives in the same way for the past 10, 15, 20, 30 years?
Now, this brings me to ask a very seemingly redundant question to you, Sister Rubina, in terms of, looking at, as you mentioned, and as I mentioned as well, in terms of we having a very busy lifestyle that, one, it could be from our, headspace, how we have consumed and come to understand things to say, this is how it should be, being up and down and, not sure where you are at the time. It's something that, signifies that you're productive, that you're successful. This brings me to now find out from you, how can we then maintain a very fulfilling life that, has a bit, I don't want to use the word balance, but I lack of a better word. Maybe I can say concurrent ways of having a work life, having a self-care life, and having a personal relationship during this holiday season, because sometimes you find people who still find it difficult to just unwind, to just sit and be by themselves and to themselves.
So what will happen, you'll notice many people will say, as soon as I got off from work, I felt sick. So I'm on holiday, but I'm actually sick. Why? Because we didn't listen to the body. The whole year we were going on this adrenal drive, popping those pills, making sure that we're on track with everything. I can't afford to get sick. These are the amount of sick leaves I have, sick days I have. These are the amount I need to cover up. So constantly trying to control everything and not literally listening to us within. So at the end of the year, as soon as you get this break, people are falling sick. So I would suggest start working on ourselves now and let it be a way of life. So when it comes to your question, prioritize your goals. You can say no. It's okay. It's okay to say no. See what is most important. What is most important for you in your life right now? And start with that. It's not end of the world. Nothing is going to stop if you change the way you start thinking, the way you start doing things. Yes, there's a lot of fear that will come, a lot of emotion that will stir up because you're not used to living this way, changing your ways. You think if I change, something will happen, something wrong will go. So that's where the therapist come in. So we provide with Ansari Holistic Healing Institute and in HeartNet in Johannesburg, we provide therapies like AHHI Detox, life coaching, we have DNA cleansing, we have the coaching on how to how to change your limiting beliefs. So there's a lot of wellness treatments that are provided where we can actually now start listening to our body, listening to what's happening in our minds so we can start changing. If we're not aware, how can we then change? So I believe that whoever is watching here is already beginning to start changing the way they are seeing things because awareness is the beginning of change. As soon as we become aware, oh wow, I've been doing this, then inshallah, we make that intention. Again, intention sets the state that we are going to choose in our lives. And that is the gift Allah has given to each one of us, your choice, and no one can take that from you. Allah has given you this gift. So why are we giving it away to somebody else? Why are we giving it to our social media platforms? Why are we giving it to our screening of things? Why are we giving it to food that is not nourishing us? Why are we handing over power to something else that is harming us when Allah has given us this choice to make that choice every moment in our lives? So
And this makes me really ask myself to say, in the day, how many times am I being intentional, or do I make an intention with things that I sort of engage in or things that I partake in? And I think this is something that I need to write and put on my mirror and put on my door so that, I try and sort of, register that subconsciously. But just in closing, Sister Rubina, would you please share with us any upcoming workshops and retreats happening from the period of, December to January that you'd like to share with our viewers at home?
Yes, Alhamdulillah. We have the Ansari Holistic Healing Institute and we have a Sufi Wellness Retreat happening in Durban, in the Midlands, and then we have in each province, KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng, Eastern Cape and Western Cape, the workshop called Cultivating Calm, Tools and Techniques, a Sufi Perspective. Beautiful workshops which will be conducted by our keynote speaker, Sheikh Hussein Ansari, who is the founder of the Ansari Holistic Healing Institute, and each province will be sharing their expertise within their expertise in terms of how the different aspects we can use to calm our nervous system, to live more peaceful lives, more in touch with our Creator and with ourselves and community, so we can experience Allah's wadud, Allah's salam, Allah's jamia, Allah's nafi in our lives, meaning Allah's peace, Allah's love, Allah's unity for goodness in the world. And this then, I believe that every person who takes this action of wanting to have this relationship with Allah, this connection with Allah, it changes the entire frequency of the world. So let's take this moment, let's take this time to choose and to make that intention to want to live holistic lives. Who wants to be living a life where you are miserable all the time? No one wants that. And that was never a prescription from Allah. Never. It was for us to live wholesome, beautiful, peaceful lives. So where is it that we have lost the plot?
Sister Rubina, that was a very thought-provoking conversation. I think it has us re-looking into ourselves to say, what do we regard as peaceful? What do we regard as success? What do we regard as, something worthy of having, or rather fulfillment in that sense? And I think it has us looking back to the fact that as Muslims, we have so much that we are not really paying mind to. Just the concept of, intention, just the concept of introspection, just the concept of really understanding Allah through the abilities that we have and the capabilities that we actually have in that sense. But, Jazakallah so much for really reminding us again to say, you know what, let's look at our intentions. And honestly, this idea of busy and no time, where is it coming from? And I think that is the basis of us understanding what is important in our lives and what can give us that fulfillment and peace that we need. Jazakallah so much for joining us.
Barakallah. Thank you so much for having us. Shukran.
Viewers at home, that was Sister Rubina Ghoor, who is a holistic healing expert and spiritual guide, who was just talking us through in terms of the year-end fatigue. And I think looking at how we've understood in terms of a lot of it comes from the fact that your body has been taking a lot of strain throughout the year. And of course, now you feel the fatigue. And of course, now you're feeling the effects of it. And I think all we can do is to curb this concept or this thinking of year-end fatigue. It really starts with our daily routines in terms of how many times do we take a moment to breathe, and how many times do we really take a moment to pour into ourselves, and what does pouring into yourself look like? Is it a shopping spree, or is it really you taking a moment to just breathe and really eat healthy and choose healthier choices? But viewers at home, that's where we close it off for now. Let's head over to an ad break. We'll see you just after this.